Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Personal Stories in Simple Stories in English. We all have different likes and dislikes. Continuing with this season of personal stories, this episode explores the question, what do I like? What do I like? Well, there are a lot of things that I like. First, I like speaking 2 languages. I speak English and Spanish. I want to learn more languages. I like Spanish because I like to talk to people. With Spanish and English, I can talk to millions of people all over the world. I also like Spanish because of the cultures. I like learning about culture. There are a lot of distinct cultures in the Spanish-speaking world. I like spending time with my sons. I like watching movies with them. I like building houses and trucks with Lego with them. I like drawing and painting with my sons. I like looking at their builds on Minecraft. I like cooking with them. I like playing video games with them. I especially like my kids' hugs and kisses. I like to read. I read in English and Spanish. I like reading novels and series. I prefer historical fiction, but not romances. I also like reading classical books like Dracula and Pride and Prejudice. I like reading to my sons. We like reading Harry Potter and Matilda and Percy Jackson. I like spending time in nature. I like camping with my family and my friends. I like driving my Jeep on complicated roads. I like hiking in the woods. I like looking at mountains. I like listening to water in rivers and seeing waterfalls. I like just sitting next to an alpine lake. I like the different perspective of the world when I am in nature. I like exercising in nature. I walk for hours and hours in the mountains. I like climbing mountains. In the winter, I like skiing. I like downhill skiing, but I especially like Nordic skiing. It is good exercise. I ski for hours and hours. I like the color green. Green is my favorite color. It is a vibrant, happy color. Green is the color of nature, and I love nature. I like to eat. I especially like to eat chocolate. I prefer dark chocolate. I don't like eating milk chocolate because it is very sweet. but I like drinking hot chocolate. I drink hot chocolate in the morning and sometimes at night. I typically put extra dark chocolate in my hot chocolate. I like tomatoes. Tomatoes are my favorite food. I can eat tomatoes for days. I like eating tomatoes with mozzarella cheese, basil, a little salt, and oil. I like eating tomatoes in a Mexican salsa with jalapenos, avocado, onion, and cilantro. I like eating tomatoes with eggs for breakfast, or tomatoes with lettuce in a salad for lunch, or simply tomatoes with spaghetti for dinner. I like eating tomatoes on pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? I like veggie pizza. I like pizza with cheese, onion, artichokes, red pepper, and broccoli. Broccoli is excellent on pizza. I also like pineapple on pizza. I like food from other cultures. I love Mexican food, Chinese food, and Thai food. I always eat traditional food when I travel, like ceviche or alpaca fillet in Peru. So yummy. I like to travel. I like visiting states and different countries. I like talking with local people and learning about their lives. I like seeing old architecture. I like eating exotic fruits that I don't have where I live. I like walking in historic places. I like getting a stamp on my passport. I like earrings. When I travel, I buy earrings. When I wear earrings, I think about my travels. I like big earrings. I like bright earrings. I prefer handmade earrings. I like taking photos. I always take photos of my adventures. I like taking photos with my big camera. I like looking at photos and thinking about my trips and adventures. I collect the photos and prepare books of the photos. I don't want to forget my experiences. I like looking at old photo albums. I like being a teacher. I like teaching. I like creating a fun class with fun activities. I like connecting with my students. I like including their ideas in my stories. I like exploring cultures with my students. I like seeing the expression of understanding on my students' faces. I like learning about my students' experiences. I like learning. I like history, and I love learning interesting things about history. I like learning about teaching methods. I like learning from expert teachers. I want to be an excellent teacher, so I need to keep learning. I like telling stories. I like acting, and when I tell stories, I can act out the stories. I like using expression when I talk. I am very dramatic in my stories. I like captivating an audience's attention. I like singing. I sing a lot. I like singing for my students. I like singing at home. I like singing for my kids, but my sons don't like it when I sing. They always say, "Mom, don't sing anymore." I ignore them and I keep singing because I like to sing. I like watching TV. I like movies, but I prefer television series. I love telenovelas or Spanish soap operas. Funny telenovelas are my favorite. There are not many funny telenovelas. The majority of telenovelas are super dramatic. I like telenovelas because I can practice my Spanish and because I like fake drama. I don't like real drama in my personal life. There are other things that I don't like. I don't like bananas. I don't like their flavor or texture. I don't like cake. I like cookies and brownies, but I don't like cake. I don't like pickles. I like vinegar and I like cucumbers, but I don't like pickles. I don't like running. I can run. I run sometimes, but I don't like it. I prefer to walk. I don't really like science fiction. I don't like washing dishes or cleaning the house. I don't like cooking. I cook for my family, but I don't like the mess it makes or the time it takes to plan and prepare the meal. I don't like being on the computer for hours. I prefer interactions in person. I don't like going shopping. I have to go to the supermarket, but I don't like it. I like a lot in this world. There are also things I don't like. What do you like? What don't you like?
The end.
Thank you for listening. You can find a transcript of this story and other stories in English and Spanish on my website, smalltownspanishteacher.com. You can also find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Small Town Spanish Teacher. If you would like to support this show, you can consider buying me a taco at buymeacoffee.com/Spanish teacher. There is a link in the show notes. See you soon. You can find a transcript of today's story as well as other stories and learning and teaching aids on my website, smalltownspanishteacher.com. This story was an original work by Camilla Given. Any resemblance to stories by other authors is purely coincidental unless otherwise noted. If you have an idea for a story or a story you would like read, feel free to email me at smalltownspanishteacher@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified of future episodes of Simple Stories in English.